Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Greg Sussman, joined today by Mike Blewett, who's going to help us break down this week's contest and give us his 6 best bets of the weekend. What's happening, Blewett?
Not much, Greg. Looking forward to it. I'm glad to be in this spot, and I think I have a few winners. Hopefully I do.
Game's been hot all season long, so hopefully you can keep the momentum going. So let's start out with one of your favorite bets from this weekend, and that involves Atlanta and Carolina. Who do you like and why?
So in this one, I'm going to go with Atlanta, plus 4.5 right now. Divisional road dogs have covered at a 70% clip this season. I think Atlanta, when you look at the team that was 1-7 heading into the bye, there was rumors of Dan Quinn being fired. I think you really have to consider that they weren't all that bad of a team. When we analyze NFL teams, I think very often we go to the extreme. They're the worst team or they're the best team. Typically, it tends to be somewhere in the middle. I don't think Atlanta, from a talent perspective, is that far behind Carolina, and I like Atlanta to cover the 4.5.
Atlanta looked as good as they have all season long last week in a big win against New Orleans, now facing another division foe in the Carolina Panthers. We'll see if Matt Ryan and company can defeat Kyle Allen and Carolina. Forget defeat, just cover the 4.5 points. Moving on, we get to Denver and Minnesota, a defensive battle you'd think here, Blewett, and that's why you're going under the number.
Yeah, 4-star under on the dailyroto.com betting model. I just think that Denver coming into this spot with Brandon Allen, congrats to him on the win over Cleveland, but going up against a Minnesota team that's excellent defensively, especially at home, and a team that can run the ball very effectively, I do think this is the type of game that Minnesota will try to get out of there with a win quickly. I don't expect there to be a lot of points on either side. I can see something along the lines of a 24-10 game, keeping it under the number of 40.5.
I agree with you. This has underwritten all over it. I thought Thursday Night Football was an easy under, and I think this one's an easy under. Minnesota and Denver should be under 40.5 points. All week long, Mike, people have been all over the New York Jets this week, plus 2.5 in Washington. They're coming off a win against their, cross-stadium rivals in the New York Giants. Washington, once again, starting Dwayne Haskins, but get back Darius Geis. Jets are still dogs on the road here, and you're part of the community that loves them.
Yeah, I get a little scared at times when the public is so on a team like they are with the Jets, but it doesn't necessarily mean that sharp picks and public picks can't be the same. I think this is one of those instances. Now, I get the sense that this looks very similar to the Rams-Steelers game that we saw this previous Sunday in Week 10, whereby both offensive lines are going to struggle with the oncoming rush from both Washington's side and the New York Jets side. I think both quarterbacks could struggle and both offenses could struggle to get things going. However, I need Dwayne Haskins to do something to prove to me that they can move the ball at all. I think Darnold ends up making more plays. I think Le'Veon Bell will be able to have some success. So I like the Jets to win it outright, and certainly I'll take the points.
Gabe always says when you want to bet on a dog, you have to believe that they can win this game. I think it's clear the Jets very much can win this game. Mike likes it. Plus 2.5. The experts like it. The public likes it. We're all on the Jets. Don't let us down, Gang Green. Moving on, we get to Dallas and Detroit. When this line opened and we started putting our graphics together for the day's show, Dallas is a 5.5-point favorite. We're recording about a half hour later. They're now a 6.5-point favorite because Matt Stafford has been ruled out. Jeff Driscoll, once again, gets the start for the Detroit Lions. Dallas, overwhelmingly a massive favorite here, Mike.
Yeah, so Dallas giving up a touchdown on the road is not something I would normally run to the window in order to bet, but I do think given the fact that Stafford is now declared out, you wonder if he's going to get back into the lineup at all this season. Jeff Driscoll did play ably last weekend, and it is possible that he will continue to do so. However, Dallas coming off another bad loss, even though they played fairly well, it's a bad loss for them in the standings. I do think they get back to business here. I think they play well defensively, create some problems for Jeff Driscoll and that offensive line that hasn't held up as well as they would have liked it to. So it's a little bit of a risky bet perhaps at first glance, but I'll take Dallas laying the touchdown to get a big win on the road in Detroit.
I know it's scary laying that amount of points on the road with the Cowboys, but this seems to be a get-right spot. We know Detroit's defense has been pretty solid, and Jeff Driscoll, as you said, looked like an able body. It's a really tough spot for him against the Dallas Cowboys. You got to like the Cowboys with the points and get it in on it early. It's only rising, as you'll see. The number continues to increase. Up next, Houston and Baltimore. This is a good one here. It's surprising that it's a 1 o'clock game. But the Texans and the Ravens from Baltimore, two of the better teams in the AFC. I know everyone's riding Lamar Jackson fever right now. Are you this Sunday?
I am. I'll take Lamar Jackson here. There has been a trend for teams that are going to London and winning games for them coming back and outright losing the game when they come back to American soil. So Houston's in that spot right now. I think Baltimore is playing as well as anybody in the entire league. And I'll take Lamar Jackson, even though I think this is a really competitive game. I can't wait to see Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson go at it. I'll take Lamar Jackson. I like Baltimore at home here.
As I said, a battle of MVPs potentially this weekend. Lamar Jackson versus Deshaun Watson. Blew it, going with a former Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to cover that 4.5-point spread in Baltimore. One last game to get to, and that brings us to a rematch from just a couple of weeks back. Thursday Night Football saw Jimmy G in San Francisco take down Arizona, but Arizona crept back in it in that second half. Now, going into this week, they're without Matt Breida. They're without George Kittle. And the Niners are potentially without Emmanuel Sanders as well. Can San Francisco get by? And more importantly, Mike, can they cover the 10.5-point spread?
Yeah, look, the Niners are very banged up right now, Greg. They've lost George Kittle. Emmanuel Sanders left the game the other day. We saw a variety of injuries. Matt Breida is going to be out in this game. And we saw Arizona play them tight just 2 weeks ago. And again, road divisional underdogs are covering at a 70% clip this season. So I do like Arizona, not necessarily get the upset here, but the Niners finally with a little bit of egg on their face, their first loss of the season, a tough one to Seattle. I think this ends up being a tight game, so I like Arizona plus the 10.5.
Taking Arizona plus the 10.5 points puts the Cardinals in a good spot. It's a lot of points for San Francisco to cover, especially looking at how they've played. It's a short week. It didn't look good the second half against Arizona a couple of weeks back. Didn't look good throughout the game against Seattle. And Arizona, they haven't looked bad. We'll see what happens on Sunday. That's going to do it for us here on the FanDuel Hurry Up. Mike, thanks so much for filling in, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Greg. May the winners be yours. Good luck to everybody.
For Mike Blewett, I'm Greg Sussman. Thanks so much for watching the FanDuel Hurry Up. Enjoy Week 11, and we'll see you back here on Monday.